Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. In this week's guitar lesson, we're going to be taking a look at playing a bluesy lead on top of a jam band arrangement. Now I'm saying jam band because I didn't really want to call it rock or blues. It really has more of an Allman Brothers or a Grateful Dead type feel. And I love bands like that where they've got some basic chords, but then they do all this great instrumentation on top of that. So we're going to be taking a look at that and break down everything that I played in the intro note for note. And more importantly, I'll show you where those notes come from so that you can start to use them when you improvise. So I've got this lesson split into two parts. In this video we'll take a look at the first half. If you'd like to watch the second half and download the tablature and the MP3 jam track, which I have in multiple tempos, you can get all of that by going to ActiveMelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page and do a search for EP245. And if you're on YouTube watching this and you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button and click the little bell thing or whatever so you get alerts, because I put out lessons like this every week and I've been doing it for many years. Alright, so let me start off by just mentioning this guitar. I know I'm going to get some comments and questions, and I'll do a follow-up video at some point and go over all the specs in detail. But this was sent to me the other day from a company out of Israel called B&G Guitars. And they have some really cool guitars. This one's called the Little Sister. It's just the coolest looking guitar. I mean, it's just very unique. They have one version that has a cutaway. And then this one, the one I wanted, did not have a cutaway. I know it's not as practical without the cutaway. I just think it looks cool, though. It looks like a cello or something. I haven't seen an electric guitar that looks quite like this. And I'm always looking at guitars, so for one to catch my eye, it's unusual. Anyway, they were nice enough to send this. There's no obligation. They just said, if you like the guitar, play it. So I thought it must be a pretty good product for them to send it out with kind of blind faith, not knowing if I would like it. I got it in the mail about a week ago and I've been playing it ever since. I love it. It's just a great sounding, great playing guitar. I played it at a gig the other night and it stayed in tune and it sounded great and had a lot of compliments. So if you're in the market for a unique looking guitar, they're kind of going after the blues, retro look with this blues market. You can check that out. It's called the B&G Little Sister, and they do one like this and then one with the cutaway. So thank you, B&G. I'll be using this guitar in future lessons going forward. This will just be part of my usual guitar lineup now. Alright, let's talk about the song. So this song, we're going to be playing mostly in the major pentatonic scale. You can do some really soulful jamming in the major pentatonic scale. A lot of times we go right to that minor pentatonic scale and we think that that's where the soul lives. And the truth is it's in both places and it's using both scales. But you can do a lot with the major pentatonic scale. So the song is in the key of D, and it starts off, the rhythm starts off by going back and forth between a D chord and a G chord. It sounds like this. It's got that kind of Allman Brothers jam kind of feel. And we're going to be playing with just a handful of notes here. This is another nice thing about what we're going to learn here. Most of what we're going to be doing in this lesson comes from like 4 or 5 notes. We're not all over the neck. We're in one little box here. It makes it easy to think about. Alright, so here's how this thing starts off. It starts off with a lead that goes like this. So, to start that, we're in the major pentatonic scale, pattern 1 for the key of D. Now if we were playing the minor pentatonic scale, we'd be up here. And I know most of you know that, right? But if we want to get to the major, all we have to do is go this way towards the head of the guitar, 3 frets, 1, 2, 3. And that works for all 5 patterns, by the way. But now, you play the same shape, but you're playing in the major pentatonic scale. So that's where this first lick lives. So it starts here on the 7th fret, 4th string, and we hit it twice. I do a hammer onto the 9th fret, 4th string, and then I come up to the 7th fret, 3rd string. So all together we have, and then I come back down and play 9 and 7 again on the 4th string. So all together. Now here's how you count it in. You count it like this: 1 and 2 and. It comes in on the and of 2. 1 and 2. And then I played. So that's a full bend on the 9th fret, 3rd string. Then come down and play the 9th fret without the bend. Anytime you do a full bend, that's just 2 notes from where you start. So if that's where we're starting, 1, 2 notes up, that's where we're trying to get to. That's a full bend. And then we come down to the 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then 9 and 7 again on the 4th string. So we have 1 and 2 and. So notice with the right hand it's down, down, up, down, up. That's what the picking pattern looks like. And then I did a half bend on the 9th fret 4th string, back down to the 9th fret, and then down to the 7th fret 4th string. So that half bend means we're just going up 1 fret above where we start. And you can see that note, the reason that sounds bluesy to your ear is because you're spilling over into the minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1. See? That note right there? So that's why that has a different feel to it. It pulls it into more of a bluesy feel. So let's count it in from the beginning. We have 1 and 2 and. And then it repeats. And now after that, I went. So there's 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. These are great licks to learn. Let me show you how to play this. Again, we're sticking in this little box here between the 9th fret and the 7th fret on the 3rd string and the 4th string. So we're going to start with a full bend on the 9th fret 3rd string. There's your bend, and then you play 9, 7, and then 9, 7. That's on the 3rd string and then the 4th string. And then you just repeat that. Once you get down to here, you back it up and do the bend again. Now if you don't learn anything else in this entire lesson, take this one lick here and just use it in that major pentatonic scale. Use it and play along with any other jam track you have or whatever your favorite song is. See if you can work that in and make it repeatable like that. It's really cool sounding. All right, from the beginning, 1 and 2 and. Now we get into this next part and it goes like this. So what we're doing is we're just going back and forth between the 7th fret and the 9th fret. We're staying in that same little box. So it starts here on the 7th fret 3rd string, and then it comes down to the 9th fret 4th string, and then down to the 7th fret 4th string. Now those 3 notes are what we're going to be using for this next part that goes. Isn't that a cool sound? It's just taking 3 notes, and really most of your challenge is going to be with the right hand, not the left hand. But let me show you how I'm doing that. So that's those 3 notes, and then while I'm down here on the 7th fret 4th string, I go ahead and bar so that I can play the 7th fret 3rd string to get back to the top. Think of it that way. And then back down. And now this time we're going to play it twice. So it's down, up, and then we're going to come down the 9th fret and then back to the 7th fret on the 3rd string. So all together we have. Okay, and then it goes. So stop, play it again, restart it. Now, this would be an awesome little lick to practice with a metronome because it's loopable and repeatable. So put on a metronome, tap your foot, and do this. It's a great practice to get your coordination, the syncopation between your right hand and left hand. Now I realize that I've been playing for a while and I'm probably making that look easier than it is for some of you that are new to alternate picking. But I can promise you if you slow this thing down, you can get it. Alright, so that's the groove that we're going for here. Now we're going to add a few other little twists and variations to that, but that's really the general direction. So the next thing we're going to add to it, I'm going to start it back at the beginning and I'll play the next thing. You have to hear it in context. So here's the next part we're going to learn. sounds probably more complicated than it is. All I'm doing is coming up here to the 9th fret 3rd string, doing a pre-bend release, and then back down to the 7th fret 3rd string, and then 9th fret 4th string, 7th fret 4th string. So that's what that looks like, slowly. Now after I come down to there, I'm going to go back to the 7th fret, but instead of hitting it once like we have been, I'm going to hit it twice this time. So it goes. So you can see a little variation. Now again, with a tablature, this would be a little easier to follow. If you're a premium member, you can pull up the tab and loop that section. But here it is on video. So from the beginning. And then the last little variation goes like this. Okay, again, we're just staying in those 4 notes. You can see how much can be said using those notes. So what we're going to do to start this, we're going to start on the 9th fret, 3rd string, go down to the 7th fret, and then we're going to do another full bend on the 9th fret, 3rd string, and then I play the 7th fret, 2nd string, which is the same note that we just bent to. And then watch this. So that's another bend and release on the 9th fret, 7th fret, 3rd string, down to the 9th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, 4th string. So that part goes. And then it goes. So that's just a straight walk down from the 9th fret, 3rd string, down to the 7th fret, 9th fret, and 7th fret. So it goes. Okay? And then the last part goes, that's just 7th fret, 9th fret, 7th fret. So all together, that last little lick goes. Sounds like a lot, but you can see it's all happening with just a few notes. And that's why I did this. I realize it's probably, if some of you are probably pulling your hair out trying to get all these notes, but I'm trying to prove a point that I'm playing this whole solo in one little area here, and I'm doing all kinds of really cool stuff with it. So, you know, it forces you to be creative when you've got less options, I think. Maybe that's another way to look at it. All right, let's take it from the beginning and play up to that point. From the very beginning. So we have 1 and 2. Okay, there it is. Okay, now the next part goes, it does a slide up here. This is where the song goes to the B minor. So I'm sliding my ring finger up to the 11th fret, 3rd string, and then my middle finger goes down on the 10th fret, 2nd string, with a little vibrato there. And then I went, so that's another, back down the same box, 9th fret, 3rd string, bend and release, 7th fret, 9th fret on the 4th string. And then I come down to that note. So and then the last part of that goes kind of a country like there. And that's, again, it's just that, I'm thinking of that major pentatonic scale. So I'm up here on the 10th fret, 2nd string. I hit that note, and then I do a bend on, and I actually use both of these fingers here, but I'm bending from the 9th fret, 3rd string. So it sounds like that. So you let that note ring out, that 10th fret, 2nd string. And then it comes down to that 7th fret, 3rd string. So after that bend, then I went, that's same set of notes we've already been playing. 9th fret, 3rd string, bend, release, down to the 7th fret, 9th fret, 4th string, and then back to the 7th fret, 3rd string. So it goes. And then I went. Now that is bending. I'm going into that minor pentatonic scale. You can hear how bluesy it sounds there. So I'm coming up here to the 10th fret, 3rd string and doing a full bend. And then doing a half bend. So you're doing both of those on the same bend, really, on the same string. You can see I'm just picking that once. And then coming down to the 7th fret, 3rd string. Alright, so let me back up from the beginning and play everything up to that point. Alright, so we have 1 and 2 and... Alright, so there's one other part I want to show you, which is our transition to get us into the second half. But here's what it sounds like. It goes. It's a real fast little run. But all I'm doing is I'm going from pattern 1, major pentatonic pattern 1, to pattern 2. Right into the second pattern. So it starts here on the 7th fret, 4th string. And I do a hammer on up to the 9th fret, 4th string. And then I do the same thing on the 3rd fret, 3rd string rather. So it's 7, 9, 7, 9. And then I slide from the 9th fret up to the 11th fret. So you can see it's just following that box pattern. Now from here, and I use my middle finger for that, then I come up to the 10th fret, 2nd string, 12th fret, 2nd string, and then the 10th fret, 1st string. I had to think about it. That's what it looks like. You can see hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, slide. That's actually slid. I didn't pick that. And then I did pick that, and then played that last note. So play around. If it's easier for you to pick the notes, do that. If it's easier for you to use hammer-ons, do that. But that's how I played that. And that's a great little lick to know too, how to transition from pattern 1 to pattern 2. And that works in both minor or major pentatonic scale. Alright, so that's part 1. I will now see you in part 2, and we'll finish all the rest of this with all the minor pentatonic stuff.